Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Almighty Allah, the entirely merciful and the specially merciful. Dear viewers across the globe, I greet you with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and may peace be unto all of you. Ameen, ameen. Dear viewers, welcome back to this program. Welcome to take treasures from the Holy Quran, even more valuable than materialistic treasures. But you will get treasures, and they are for free. You are not going to pay anything. But we have one request from you. The request to understand it and the request to share it with other people. Don't deprive anyone, because the more you give them, the more Allah will give you more and more treasures. The more Allah will open up our hearts and would give us real understanding of the verses so that we can share them with others. Try to imagine that one of the chapters today that we are going to discuss, we're going to take very short couple of surahs, again, couple of ayat. The name of this chapter is chapter called Al-Qalam. Al-Qalam, I'm sure that almost everybody knows the meaning of Al-Qalam. This is Al-Qalam, the pen. The pen is general. And by the way, a lot of people may not be aware that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the pen before He created anything in the creation. Wow! He created the pen and asked the pen to write, and to write down everything that will happen in the universe. So the pen was created before the creation of the universe, because before the creation of all humans. It's really amazing to know that, and it makes sense. I never thought of it. A lot of people would say that. Yeah, and this is the beauty of this golden or valuable knowledge that we learn from the Quran. So here we are dealing with Surah Al-Qalam. We are lucky, first to know this fact, and I hope you share it with every human being around you. So the pen was created. It has been recording everything. How? As you know, the answer is very simple. Allah asks it to do this, and it does. Allah has the ability to. So it writes for everyone documents in a way that is known by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, but everything is documented. My history, your history, the history of every human being. And this is something really that pleases the good people. Say, Alhamdulillah, we have records against those criminals that have done all these bad things in the world. All these wars and all these crimes and all these briberies and all these cheating, and everything is recorded. Don't worry. Nobody can change that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded the pen. All the time when you read this chapter, all the time before you get into details and you go through it, reflect upon this. So here, I am going to read this verse. So it's chapter number 68, ayah number 35 and ayah number 36. Ayah number 35. It says, it's in a form of a question. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. أفنجعل المسلمين كالمجرمين ما لكم كيف تحكمون. Do you think that are we going to treat the good people like the bad people? Are we going to treat the Muslims like the criminals, the disobedient one, the ones who did not follow the commands of Allah? Are they going to be in the same row? No, they are not. ما لكم كيف تحكمون. This is like, how can you make this judgment? It's impossible to make them equal because they are not equal in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They are not equal. فنجعل المسلمين كالمجرمين. Amazing question. أفنجعل المسلمين كالمجرمين. You can memorize it. ما لكم كيف تحكمون. How did you come to this kind of judgment? It's impossible. It doesn't make sense to make them equal or to treat them equal, or the outcome for both of them will be equal. No, and no, and no. Beautiful question. Beautiful question. And we do thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a question like this, and for all the questions, and for every word in the Holy Quran. أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ. Look at the Muslims. Look at the peaceful people. Look at the people who submit themselves to the will of Allah. Look at the people who obey Almighty Allah and keep away from doing bad things according to the guidelines of Allah. Do you want Allah to deal with them in the same way He deals with the criminals? All kinds of criminals. Criminals of war, criminals of ruling, criminals of all these kinds of... They are everywhere. Look around you and see how many people around you are following the guidelines from Allah, and how many people are disobeying the guidelines of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then ask yourself, should we make those people like those people? Do they deserve to be on equal place? Impossible. It's unfair to them. Every human being would say, it's unfair. It's unfair. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time keeps the unfair things away, because one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Judge and Al-Adl. He is the one who possesses all kinds of justice, whether you know them, you think of them or not. He is the one. When you say that He is Al-Adl, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the just one, the fair one. So is it possible that He would do this? No. The answer is this. If you ask this question, مَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ? How come you would come to this conclusion? Because it's impossible. So every human being can guess the answer of these questions, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Himself answers this. It's no and no and no, because مَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ. You are making very false judgment. You are making bad judgment. مَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ. So it's a beautiful verse, and when you see the translation of it, shall we then treat the Muslims, the believers, the followers of Islamic monotheism, the doers of good deeds, shall we treat them like the mushrikeen, the mujrimeen, the criminals, the polytheists, the disbelievers, etc.? Shall we deal with them, deal with those like those? What is the matter with you? How judge you? How can you make this judgment? It's impossible. Beautiful question, as I said, and the more you, a very short one. And I wish that you already memorized it by now. When أَفَنَجْعَلُ الْمُسْلِمِينَ كَالْمُجْرِمِينَ مَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ. How come? What is the matter with you? How can you come to this conclusion? So you can see how enjoyable a question like this, when it comes in the middle of a chapter and it really attracts your attention. And you start thinking, and I wish you spend an hour tonight before you sleep, or at any time you select, and you start thinking. It's impossible. The logical thinking would lead you that it's impossible that Allah, the just, Al-Adl, He would deal with those people like those ones. Definitely there will be different abodes for them, different places for them, different ways of dealing with them. It's not fair for the believers who had been following all the good things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the guidelines of Allah, and then finally, the final result that we would be in the same place with the criminals, with all those who did these crimes in history. And everything in Surah Al-Qalam, as you know that, everything is recorded. Everyone, no one can change anything or can go away and run away from this. So those have their records, blank, beautiful, good records, and those do not have this. They will be in trouble. They will be in different abode. They will get the results of everything that they have done bad here. Unless, if you are alive, and we are still hearing this, we can ask ourselves, am I one of those criminals, or am I one of those Muslims who submit themselves and follow the path that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded us to follow? Are you here or here? Where are you? And if you are not here, so now it's your time to think of changing your path. Is it possible? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. All the time, as long as you are alive. You can change the path from path B to path A, to be among the Muslims, to be among the believers, to be among the good doers, to be among... Change. But here's an issue here, and I want a lot of people to think of it. What is the definition of good? Is it the one that's defined by me, or by him, or by her, or according to this law or the other law, or this code of ethics and this code of ethics? Which one I'm going to follow? Here you should, yeah. It's not what you get in your restricted culture. It's not the man-made laws. It's the divine-made laws. It's the laws that had been said in this book. The guidelines that are mentioned in this book. It's not my guideline. It's not her guideline. It's not his guidelines. You know that a lot of people say that to be free thinker, nobody obliges me. Nobody puts me in that corner to follow the guidelines that had been made by Mr. X or Mr. Y. I'm only following the guidelines that had been sent to me from my Creator. See different ways? See the free thinking here? It leads you to Iman. When you think in the right direction, in the guidance of the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I think that I can suggest this to a lot of people, that why don't you take all the questions that had been mentioned in the Quran, put them, and then answer them according to Islam. It would be a very good project. All the questions that had been mentioned in the Quran, and you get the help of researchers and get the help of the scholars, and answer these questions and present it, made it in a small booklet or a big booklet, and I'm thinking that you can present it to everybody who has not known about Islam. Just ask these questions and tell them that if you know the answers, that's great. If you don't know the answers, I am willing to help you. And in this way, we can guide a lot of people. I think it's a good project, simple and good project that may lead a lot of people away from hellfire. So they can read it and they will start changing their path from the wrong path to move to the right path and follow the guidelines that would make them Muslimin, and then they can they can be placed in this category. أفنجعل المسلمين كالمجرمين ما لكم كيف تحكمون. Should we make those ones who did those wonderful deeds in this life, throughout their life, they did this positive thing, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, with those who disobeyed Almighty Allah here and now and then and all the time, frequently they have done this, and they didn't want to change their past, thinking that they are okay in this area. I am sure that every human being with some little background of reasoning, it doesn't need even the help of anyone around him or her, a father or mother or a teacher. If they need, that's fine. If not, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنْتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. If you don't have those people around you, so ask the people of expertise, contact them, and now you can find on Google a lot of ways to access them. We do thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this Quran so that we will be guided from the beginning, and all the time would be guided throughout, as long as you are in contact with Quran and in contact with the authentic and reliable scholars, you'll be on the safe side. And we do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the ability and the skills and the potential so that we can help others and guide them to the right path, to take them from the wrong path, to put them on and place them on the right path. Ameen, ameen. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.